There's a Mercedes truck that can climb a 45-degree slope with one wheel in the air. A Dodge from 1946 that's still pulling stumps on farms today. And a Toyota that crossed the Sahara when GPS didn't exist. These machines were never meant to be legends. They were built for one thing: to go where nothing else could. And 70 years later, they still do. This is the story of 10 beasts that refuse to die. Number 10, 1977 Ford Bronco half cab. Picture this, 1977. Disco's dying, gas prices are climbing, and Ford is about to kill the short wheelbase Bronco forever. But before it goes, they build one final variant few people remember: the half cab. Open bed, removable hardtop, four-wheel drive that could chew through mud like butter. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't refined, but it was honest steel wrapped around a 351 Windsor V8 that growled like a caged animal. Back then, you could pull the top off, throw your tools in the back, and disappear into the woods for a week. No computer, no traction control. Just you, a manual transmission, and the hum of leaf springs doing what they were born to do. Today, a clean half cab will cost you more than a brand new F-150 because the people who drove them as kids now want them back. Number 9, 1986 Chevrolet K10 Silverado. Cold steel, chrome bumpers, a bench seat wide enough for 3 grown men. The 86 K10 Silverado was the last of the square body era and the toughest truck Chevy ever made for the dirt. Underneath, it had something modern trucks forgot: simplicity. A solid front axle, a 350 small block you could rebuild in your driveway, a 4-speed that didn't need a computer to shift. Farmers ran them into the ground. Hunters beat them through frozen forests. And when they finally quit, you didn't call a dealership, you grabbed a wrench. But here's the thing, they didn't quit often, because back then, trucks were built to outlive their owners. That K10 sitting in your neighbor's barn with 300,000 miles, it'll start tomorrow. And it'll probably outlast his new one too. Number 8, 1980 Jeep J10 Honcho. Jeep tried to make a gentleman's pickup. They failed, and thank God they did. The 1980 J10 Honcho was a full-size Jeep truck with the soul of a Wrangler and the attitude of a bulldog. Wide step-side bed, gold and orange graphics that screamed 1980, and a Dana 44 front axle that could crawl over boulders modern crossovers wouldn't even attempt. It came with a 360 V8 that drank fuel like water, but gave you torque that could twist a tree stump out of frozen ground. It had a manual transmission that felt like shifting a tractor, and it had one mission: go anywhere, look good doing it. Most rotted away in junkyards, but the ones that survived, they're legends now. Because the Honcho didn't try to be civilized, it tried to be unstoppable. And it was. Number 7, 1991 Dodge Ram 250 Cummins. Dodge is dying. Their trucks are outdated, underpowered, and overlooked. Then they do something insane. They drop a turbocharged diesel engine designed for farm equipment into a half-ton pickup. The world laughed until it started. That first-generation 12-valve didn't just run, it roared. It could tow 10,000 pounds before breakfast. It got better fuel economy than most SUVs, and it was built so tough you could run it 1,000,000 miles if you changed the oil. No computer, no DEF fluid, no emissions nightmares, just cast iron, a mechanical injection pump, and a turbo that spooled like a jet engine. You could feel it in your chest when you pressed the throttle. Today, those early Cummins Rams are worth more than they sold for new, because everyone who owned one knows what they lost. Number 6. Kaiser Jeep M715. This one wasn't born on a showroom floor. It was born in Vietnam. The Kaiser Jeep M715 was a military cargo truck built in 1967 to haul Marines, ammo, and anything else the Army threw at it. It had a Tornado inline-6 that made 132 horsepower and didn't care because horsepower wasn't the point. Survival was. It came with a 4-speed transmission that could grind through mud, snow, and rice pads. It had a bed that could carry a small small tank. And after the war, thousands were sold as surplus to farmers, hunters, and anyone crazy enough to want a truck designed for combat. No power steering, no comfort, just a steel cage, four-wheel drive, and the knowledge that if it was good enough for a war zone, your dirt road was nothing. Number 5. 1978 Toyota Land Cruiser FJ40. While America was building trucks for weekend warriors, Toyota was building one truck for the end of the world. The FJ40 Land Cruiser wasn't fast, it wasn't flashy, but it could cross the Australian Outback, climb Bolivian mountain passes, and survive the Sahara with nothing but a toolbox and a jerry can of fuel. Aid workers drove them into war zones. Explorers used them to map uncharted deserts, and farmers in Africa are still driving the same FJ40s their fathers bought in 1978. No updates, no recalls. Just fuel, oil, and respect. Toyota tried to recapture that magic with modern trucks. They came close, but they never matched the FJ40 because legends can't be replicated. Number 4. 1984 Land Rover Defender 110. The British built an empire, and they did it in this truck. The 1984 Defender 110 wasn't designed for comfort. It was designed to conquer continents. From the jungles of Borneo to the frozen tundra of Iceland, the Defender went where roads ended and logic quit. It had a frame made from galvanized steel, a drivetrain so simple a teenager could fix it with a hammer, and an interior that looked like a tool shed because it basically was. You sat on vinyl seats. You listened to the wind howl through the doors. You felt every rock, every rut, every inch of the trail beneath you, and you loved it. Because the Defender didn't pretend to be a luxury SUV. It was a tool, a brutal, unstoppable, elegant tool. Today, they're banned from import in the US. Too old, too unsafe, too raw. But the people who drove them, they'll tell you the same thing. Modern SUVs are softer, quieter, faster, but none of them are Defenders. 1946 Dodge Power Wagon. There's a truck still working on farms across America that was built the year World War II ended. Let that sink in. The 1946 Dodge Power Wagon was the first civilian four-wheel drive pickup you could buy from a dealer. It wasn't designed for pavement. It was designed for places pavement would never reach. It came with a flathead inline-six that made 94 horsepower and could pull a house off its foundation. It had a 4-speed transmission with a granny low first gear that could crawl up a mountain at walking speed. And it had a front-mounted winch that could drag itself and anything else out of hell. Farmers used them to plow fields, loggers used them to haul timber, and the US military kept ordering them for decades because nothing else could match their blend of toughness and simplicity. 79 years later, they're still out there, still running, still working. Because the Power Wagon wasn't built to be replaced. It was built to last forever, too. 1953. Dodge M37. If the Power Wagon was tough, the M37 was indestructible. Built in 1953 for the Korean War, the Dodge M37 was a 3/4-ton military cargo truck designed to survive combat, freezing cold, and complete neglect. It had a 230 cubic inch flathead 6, a 4-speed manual with a 2-speed transfer case, and a reputation for never, ever dying. After the military retired them, thousands were sold as surplus. Ranchers bought them, fire departments bought them, and off-road fanatics turned them into rock-crawling monsters that could climb cliffs modern Jeeps wouldn't dare touch. The secret? Simplicity. No computers, no sensors, just cast iron, leaf springs, and a truck that would start in the Arctic and run in the Mojave without complaint. There's a reason you still see M37s at vintage off-road events. They're not museum pieces. They're still competing and still winning. 1. 1988 Mercedes-Benz Unimog U1300L. This isn't a truck. It's a statement. The 1988 Mercedes-Benz Unimog U1300L was designed for one purpose: to go absolutely anywhere on Earth, regardless of terrain, weather, or common sense. It could ford rivers 4 feet deep, climb slopes that would flip a normal truck, and power through mud that would swallow a Hummer whole. It came with portal axles that gave it 16 inches of ground clearance, a turbocharged inline-6 diesel that made 130 horsepower, but 295 pound-feet of torque at idle. and a fully locking drivetrain that could distribute power to whichever wheel had traction. But here's the wildest part. It wasn't a military vehicle. It was sold to civilians. Farmers in the Alps used them to plow mountain roads. Firefighters used them to reach villages cut off from snow. And adventurers used them to cross continents where no road existed. Today, a clean Unimog will cost you 6 figures because there's nothing modern that matches it. Not in capability, not in durability, not in sheer unstoppable presence.